right, folks. We are going to be dealing with encryption today, right? So we're going to be encrypting this password, and we'll talk a little bit about this. We're going to be dealing with the Caesar cipher, right? Nice little overview, Caesar cipher, right? So here's a nice little image to overview kind of what's going on here, right? So we shift every single letter by a certain amount, right? This is an example of shifting from the top, E, to B, right? We're shifting 3 to the left, right? F is getting shifted 3 to the left to C. G is getting shifted 3 to the left to D, right? So you can see G goes to D, H goes to E, etc., etc., right? So this would be a -3 shift. Over here, A is getting shifted to D. This is a +3 shift, right? Now, we're not always dealing with sets of 3. We can do any number, right? Here's another example, right? +3, A goes to D, B goes to E, etc., etc., right? You can see that everything is 3 off from where it is. Over here we have a -12, right? So A goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A goes to O, right? So you can see A matches up to O, B matches up to P. If you count backwards 12, you'll end up at P. Right? So we're going to be creating a lab to simulate this, right? Your general commands on here, the up arrow, when you hit run, the up arrow increases how much we shift by. So we're shifting by 1, right? So if I hit the right arrow, every letter is going to shift to the right by 1. P is going to turn into Q, A is going to turn into B, S is going to turn to T, right? So I'm going to simulate that, right? If I go one more time, Q is going to be R, B is going to be C, right? So the right arrow shifts by that much. The left arrow undoes it, right? So I did 2 right arrows and 2 left arrows. If I go up again, I'm shifting over by 2. So P shifts over twice to R, C shifts over twice, or A shifts over twice to C. If I'm going to go left back, right, you can see kind of generally speaking what's going on. If we go down, we can go into the negatives, right? And -1 is actually equivalent to 25 forward. So A is going to go to Z, right, etc., etc. So general things that you have to do. Number 1, you have to count all of the letters. Right? So in your string, what letters do we have? You also have numbers, and we need to count those as well. Number 2 is you need to implement the button functionality for shifting, right? And again, I would just try to calculate what happens when you go past a certain ASCII value or a certain letter, right? There's a couple different ways to accomplish this. You can subtract by 26, right? You can use an if statement. It's kind of up to you. Good. Oh, I'm going to jump back to the document here. Right. So on the document, which is also on Canvas, there's a link to actually run this for yourselves. All right. There are 7 methods you need to write. Number 1, I would go in this order. These are pretty good. Oh, actually, sorry. This is a recommended order here. Right. Number 1, is it a number? Right. So what does that take in? What does it return? Is it a letter? What does it take in? What does it return? Parse non-alphanumerics, right? So I would recommend trying to figure out what happens if we pass in other things. Shift, right? This is our actual encryption and decryption, right? How far do you want to shift and how does that look like? Then dealing with the counts will happen later. Substitution, I'm going to demonstrate that. If you go back over here and you hit the space bar, you can put in a new word like Rudwick. Rudwick. Each letter should be used. Oh, shoot, sorry. This is actually a completely different shifting. So you could shift like this. Right? So what this is going to look like, right, is we're actually going to be shifting along this alphabet down here. Cool. Extensions and modifications. I apologize for that. Extensions and modifications. Students who will wish for a bit more of a challenge can adjust their program or work on any upper or lowercase letters. For example, when shifting an uppercase letter, it would stay uppercase. When calculating how many A's, just add up the A's, capital and lowercase. right? That's one example one, right? There's a couple more in here. I'm going to leave these up to you guys, right? And you can kind of Google some of these more advanced encryptions. All right, good luck. Oh, just to recap, right? This is in the Unit 3 folder. It is called Cryptography Lab, and then here's the Greenfoot code.